Hey guys, Josh here from Sportitude Running, and today we are going to take a deep dive look at the new Kayano 30. This shoe here has had a massive update, and we are talking mid-part of 2023 in comparison to where it has come from the Kayano 29 and 28 for that matter. So in today's review, we'll talk on all the usual topics: outsole, midsole, and upper. We're going to give you all the big changes with regards to what this brand has done with the new Kayano franchise. Hopefully answer a lot of those questions you may have around this shoe and give you all the information that you need at home to, who knows, maybe make this your next shoe purchase. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay guys, Kayano 30, it's still targeting the same runner. Overpronator who's searching for some cushioning underneath the foot when they're hitting the pavement out on the road. It is a daily trainer, it's a workhorse, nothing has changed there. You're going to get a lot of good miles out of this shoe, and which is what you would expect from their premium high mileage arch support shoe. Jumping into the review now guys, let's talk all things upper first. Now, in every aspect of this shoe, there is significant change, and probably the least amount of change comes from the upper, and I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek, because there's a significant amount that they have done and addressed in regards to executing the upper in the Kayano 30. We had a knitted construction in the 29. Now, that was great for durability. A lot of runners liked how it held up over the life of the shoe. However, the feedback was, which we kind of predicted early days, that it wasn't going to be quite as breathable. No surprises there. Knitted constructions aren't as breathable as engineered or jacquard mesh construction. So that was the case with regards to the toe box of the Kayano 29. It fitted really well, had a nice amount of wriggle room. However, you're going to find the Kayano 30 to be lighter on foot experience up top and to be significantly more breathable. And that's a really important factor when you're looking at a high mileage shoe. You're going to be spending plenty of time out in the road, and you want to make sure that you can reduce the impact of swelling. So ventilation and keeping that foot cool is so important. The other great thing about this shoe is the internal heel counter. You would expect that from this shoe because it is a high mileage shoe. You want to make sure that that heel counter is nice and stable. Same thing as last year, almost identical to be completely honest with the internal heel counter, except for the fact we had a slight beam around the external heel counter in the Kayano 29. Now that was placed there to offer a little bit more support to slow down that rate of pronation for that runner who is transitioning from contact to mid stance. Not required in the Kayano 30, and the reason being is more due to the midsole, which we'll touch on in a second. But the internal collar, again, really comfortable point of this shoe. Increase it ever so slightly, so slightly thicker amount of foam or more foam on offer around the back of the heel in comparison to last year. Not drastic amounts of change, but enough to notice, that's for sure. And the other big change is more around the actual tongue construction. No gusseted fit in last year's Kayano 29, which I thought was a bit strange, to be fair, because generally speaking, with most mileage shoes, they do use some form of gusseted construction. It was a unique decision for Asics to leave that out of their shoe for a season, so be it. We learn and we put it into Kayano 30. So we have the gusseted construction, sorry, a bit of a mouthful, and a thinner tongue as well. So the thinner tongue plays more to that breathability as well of this shoe. So jumping to the outsole now. Now, the reason we're doing the outsole next is because both the outsole and the upper play to what Asics have done with their midsole, which is significant change. So the outsole next, we can see there is a lot more shoe underneath the foot. The heel, the midfoot, and the forefoot is significantly wider than what we had on offer last year in Kayano 29. The similarities between the two is that we do have the AHAR plus compound rubber. So that's a carbon rubber, which is strategically placed in the heel of the shoe. So last year in Kayano 29, it was at the back. Same thing with Kayano 30. So that is catering for that heel strike and making contact with the ground heel first. However, as you transition up into the midfoot, last year, Asics used that same compound up through this trustic sort of area through here. So what that did was it actually aided in giving the light trust medial support a bit of guidance and structure and integrity as well. They didn't need to do that this year because the shoe is on a wider footprint, and also the way they have injected the pure gel into the midsole, which we'll touch on in a second, but we have a wider base with regards to the overall mid-stance phase of the Kayano 30. So it's a lot more shoe on offer as you transition through the midsection of your gait cycle. And as you're coming through to the forefoot, again, same theme here, we have a lot more shoe on offer underneath the ball of the foot. The biggest change is we can see on the outside, if you can just have a dial-in look here, you can see that we have a vertical decoupled line. Now, what that is to do there is actually to offer a little bit more stability as you transition through mid-stance to toe off, and what that'll do is it'll actually keep you off the medial side of this midsole as well. So for those late stage overpronators, you'll probably find this shoe to be a little bit more comfortable than what you would have found in last year's Kayano 29. It's a minor thing, but it does play to the overall performance of this shoe. The biggest change is in the midsole, and no surprises there. Asics have been known for making very good technologies throughout their midsoles for a number of years, and that's probably where they have really grown as a brand in regards to what they have been able to execute in this Kayano 30. Taken a lot of learnings from their previous 29, the Kayano Lite version 1 and version 2, and also version 3 have helped them gather enough information to put into what we see now being the Kayano 30. So first things first, let's just touch on that arch support again. I've brought it up a few times now. We had the Light Trust arch support system, which is that dual density medial posting on the Kayano 29. It was previously Duomax for those of you that have ran in Kayanos or know what we're talking about, the Duomax dual density foam. Then it went to Light Trust, and now we're talking the 4D guidance system. The biggest change between the two is this is less intrusive. Now 4D, playing on the terminology of fourth dimension, is time. Asics are claiming that this shoe actually gives you less ground contact time through mid stance, and that is a massive claim because that's exactly what we're trying to achieve for overpronators. We want to get you out of that phase of your gait cycle as quickly as we possibly can with as less impact as we possibly can. So the theory had been for a number of years, let's whack up that arch support on the medial side to stop, reduce or slow down that rate of pronation. However, more of the science or more of the learnings from that is coming out and around about slowing down the rate of pronation through cushioning on entry, but also pushing us through mid-stance as quickly as we possibly can. So that's a great way to execute that arch support. Now, you're probably sitting there at home, that's really good, Josh. You probably just read a memo, but yeah, I have. But also, this shoe here has really got me intrigued. From getting my pair around about 2 months ago, putting some Ks into them, I've really wanted to know what this shoe is all about. And I can tell you right now, it is still catering for that overpronator. Someone who's looking for some arch support, that 4D guidance system is there and it performs extremely well. Very comfortable, less intrusive, and I find this shoe has a little bit more pop through toe off, which is fantastic as well. The other main change within this midsole is more around the stack height. So we can see straight away visually there is more shoe, and you are spot on. So we have still got a 10mm heel to toe drop. Now there's a few numbers here to get through, so bear with me for a second. In the men's Kayano 30, we have 29 in the heel and 19 in the forefoot. In the ladies' Kayano 30, it is 1mm less, so it's 28 to 18. Last year's Kayano 29 was the same heel to toe offset. In the men's, we had 25 in the heel, 15 in the forefoot, and the ladies was 24-14. So again, same angle of which your foot from heel to toe is sitting in the shoe, but there's just more underneath your foot with regards to the new model. Flight Foam Blast Plus technology on offer. I would say on both, I should say. So Kayano 29 had it last year and we still got it in Kayano 30, but it could be due to the fact there is more shoe. However, it is significantly softer, a lot plusher underneath foot experience. It's very, very comfortable, and Asics are really having a good hard look at themselves and trying to reduce their carbon footprint. There is less sort of impact on the environment with this midsole than what they had done previously with the Kayano 29 and the couple of shoes prior to that. So they are addressing that. Every brand is addressing that. So I'd say tip my hat to them and keep putting in the hard work in that area. We are really keen to see what brands can do in regards to what they're considering to lessen their impact on the environment. Now, I've talked about the densities of foam. I talked about what's there. We have the pure gel technology, so it's hidden inside this heel, not like in the Kayano 29 and pretty much every Kayano we can ever think of. We saw the gel in the heel. Once they removed it from the forefoot, everyone sort of got a little bit scared. However, they did strategically place it in the forefoot under the ball of the foot. We just couldn't see it. It's there. But now we can't see it. I can assure you we have gel cushioning in the heel. The pure gel cushioning is around 65% lighter than what they had previously used, so it's a lighter compounded gel, but it's more the foam that encapsulates that gel that does all the work. So as I touched on, we've gone over all the tech stats. We've talked to you about the fancy words for all the gels, etc. and the foams, but I really want to talk about the geometry of this shoe. We have a significant change with regards to the amount of foam underneath the foot, not only height, but the width. And the other thing too is you can see that cutaway, that sort of decoupled line at the back of this heel through here, in conjunction with that concave setup on the lateral side. Not too dissimilar to what they had on offer. There was a concave setup through here. You can see from the base of the heel down to where it flares out in the lateral side. However, what Asics have found through their testing from prototype 1 to now prototype 2 and what we have in front of us being the final production, you can see they've actually carved away the midsole on this lateral side. And what that does is when you make contact with the ground, being a heel striking or mid-foot striking, you will compress the foam by purely being a concave setup. So therefore you can push through that Flight Foam Blast Plus technology a little bit more. Sit your heel on top of that pure gel technology to get that cushioning that you require on that first point of contact. But what that does is actually helps transition you through slower to mid starts. Then we talk the 4D guidance system on the medial side, which then pushes you through mid-starts to toe off, which I touched on earlier. You get a slightly more poppy feel through the forefoot, which I think is a great way to execute the release out of this Kayano 30. It's very comfortable, very soft, very stable ride, and as you release out a gait cycle, you kind of want to put your foot back down again. That's how comfortable this new midsole is. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's review. We know it was a lengthy one, but I wanted to give this shoe the time and respect it deserves so I can give you all the information that you need at home. Now, the upper, let's go through it. Just to summarize, the upper is lighter, it's more breathable. The Kayano 30 using engineer mesh in comparison to knit, it's going to be lighter on the foot and it's going to get more ventilation throughout the foot channeling. And the other thing too is the internal heel counter pretty much identical. Same amount of support around the back and a little bit more foam around the inside of your calcaneus, being your heel. Midsole, more stack. We've got a lot more shoe under the foot. So 10mm offset, same as last year, but how we've gone 4mm higher. So a lot of change through there, still using the same cushioning system. However, the biggest one is obviously the archer port, the 4D guidance system in comparison to the light truss. Less intrusive, more stable, smoother transition throughout the entire gait cycle. That's the easiest way to simplify what this shoe does. And the last but not least is the outsole. Well, the outsole plays to exactly what they've done with the midsole. Higher stack, wider footprint, more shoe underneath the foot, and a more stable transition. And I reckon this rubber is going to perform better with this midsole than what we found last year. You'll get a little bit more durability out of the outsole in Kayano 30. And the last question you're probably asking at home, well, there's been so much change. What's the difference in the weight? It's almost exactly the same. It's quite remarkable when a brand can put more into a shoe and execute the same amount of weight. 300 grams in a men's size 9, same as last year. And in the ladies, we have 257 grams, almost identical to last year's Kayano 29 as well. So very similar weights, but a lot of change inside this shoe. So there you have it, guys. Kayano 30, significant change. I mean, one that we were all a little bit excited about. I mean, we were very lucky to see a CAD of this shoe in the front half of 2022, almost a year ago now. So we knew this change was coming. We didn't know how much it was going to impact the market, and we still don't know because it's obviously only early days, but I am super excited with regards to what this shoe is proposing to do. A lot of learnings from Asics. They've taken the history of the Kayano franchise for 3 decades now. And to pay respect to a brand, I mean, we need to be kind of cautious with regards to a lot of change because change is inevitable with shoe engineering. It happens. There are some brands that do small changes from one season to the next, and I will probably put Asics in that category over the last 3 decades. The Kayano franchise has been extremely popular, so if something isn't broke, why should we fix it? That's a general rule of thumb with engineering. However, you still need to remain progressive in today's market. And what they have done with this shoe is taken that Kayano Light feedback, the Kayano 29 franchise and 28 franchise data feedback, and put it into what we see today being the Kayano 30. So it's a shoe that I think could talk to nearly everyone, where previously the Kayano Light was probably a little bit more dialed in for your true runner, where the Kayano 28s and 29s were dialed in for your everyday runner. Nowadays, the Kayano 30, it's talking to high mileage runners, it's talking to your start runners, someone who's an everyday Joe Block who likes to get out and just roll their legs over. This shoe is going to cater for a lot more runners out there, which is extremely exciting. So guys, if you've got any questions on this shoe, please let us know in the comment section below. It is my favourite Kayano to date. I'm excited to say that because prior to this, it was the Kayano 18. That's probably showing my age or how many years I've been in this industry. The Kayano 18 had a big change with the heel counter. I really liked what the brand had done with that. However, in the last 12 years, I've been waiting for something exciting to come to mind, and I will potentially use this shoe as my daily trainer. I haven't used Kayano as my all-day, everyday training shoe for a number of years now, but I can see myself certainly pounding the pavement in this Kayano 30. It's exciting, it's soft, it's plush, it's comfortable, it's everything that I want out of a high-mileage shoe. So thank you for tuning in, guys. Any questions, as I said, drop it in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the red button, stay notified, and we'll keep pumping out these shoe reviews for you, the running community all over the world. We'd love to hear your stories. Stay kind to one another, be happy, and we'll see you out on the road. Take care.